So welcome to our little Northeastern Club Figure Skating chat. We're gonna tell you guys all about our club, what it is we do, and what our team has to offer. And so we're really excited that you guys are all here. And we know that it's a little unfortunate that we're gonna be starting off our season virtually, or that's kind of what's in the works right now. But hopefully we'll be able to get on the ice in the falls. But we'll have more information about that for you guys. But to start off, we're just gonna go through the people with like ice skating backgrounds. If you can see, or most of us have that background, but we're the executive board for the club figure skating team. And then we also have our assistant executive board members here. So we're gonna go through and introduce ourselves. The executive board members will introduce the AVP that they're working with, their assistant. So to start, I'm Una Gaffney. I'm going to be a rising 5th year. And what else? I'm the president of the club, and my major is environmental science. Whoever wants to go next.
I'm going to be a rising 4th year. I'm the treasurer of the club.
Chrissy, you sound like a robot.
Yeah, it's because my headphones are all messed up. And my assistant treasurer is Sophie. And I am a chemical engineering major. Sophie, what major?
I'm a criminal justice and psychology major.
I feel like I can't follow that. That was amazing. I'm Katie. I am a 4th year, rising 4th year. I'm the vice president of events, and volunteering also falls under that. I'm a poli-sci and international affairs major, and my AVP is Kirsten.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth. I am a rising 3rd year. I'm a bioengineering major, and I am vice president of competitions and shows. And Ella is my AVP.
Hi, I can't see anyone because I collapsed the videos, so I don't know where I'm looking, but I'm Annabelle. I'm going to be a rising 3rd year, a chemical engineering major, and I'm the VP of membership for this upcoming year, and my AVP is Emily. Emily, what's your major?
Mechanical engineering.
All right, and I'm Julia Choi. I'm a rising 4th year. I'm a health science major, and I am the VP of social media and communications, and Holly is my assistant. Holly, what's your major?
My major is international business.
And Ella and Kirsten, if you just want to say your majors. Sorry, we didn't mean to skip you.
You're good. I'm bio and math.
I'm criminal justice and philosophy.
Great. So those are, we just want to introduce ourselves so you guys have a better idea of like who we are, what we're studying. Yeah. But I would just like to mention before we get started that we're going to ask you guys to save all your questions that you have until the end. If anything pops up, use the chat box to kind of type your question in there. We'll have a Q&A at the end to kind of address some of the most popular questions. And then if we still don't answer your questions after that, we're planning on doing little breakout sessions if there's interest. So you guys can talk more closely one-on-one with any of the e-board members or AVPs. Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and start by talking about a program that's separate from the club figure skating, but it's really closely related to our team. So that would be the Learn to Skate program. Annabelle, if you want to switch the slide.
Yeah, before we go into the next slide though, we just sent a Google Doc form in the chat. If you could just quickly fill it out, we want to make sure that we get everyone's name down who's in the meeting. It's just like a little attendance form, and we'll give like 2 minutes to do that.
And also, if you want to send any of your questions to like any of us individually, just so that we have them, that'd be fine.
Definitely. And so while you all are filling that out, Annabelle, did you want me to talk about the Learn to Skate when we get to that, or?
Or Elizabeth can.
Okay. We can tag team it.
I'll just give people like 30 seconds and then I'll start.
Yeah.
So the Learn to Skate program is, like Una said, separate from our club. But if you're more interested in just learning how to skate, if you're a beginner, you just want to get comfortable on the ice, or you're not looking for as big of a commitment as our team, we highly recommend the Learn to Skate program. It is run through the campus instructional programs, but we help the instructional campus recreation develop the program, and we also coach the program. So we are heavily involved in it. You do not need any experience skating before to join us, or you can have a little bit of experience, just want to get more comfortable or get back on the ice. All we ask is that you provide your own skates, because we are unable to do that because Matthews, the rink on campus, does not have skate rentals to give out. The class is held twice a week during lunchtime from 11:45 to 1 p.m. Pretty much every day, Matthews Arena has a free public skating session during that time, and 2 days a week during that time, we teach the program. As far as this semester goes, we are unsure if we'll be allowed to run the program yet, or what days, but we would love to do it and obviously follow all guidelines and make it as safe as possible, as well as make it a really worthwhile class. The program runs for 8 weeks, twice a week. So it costs around $60, and the class size is around like 10 to 12 skaters. So it's big enough that you get to know people and you have a little community, but it's small enough that you get that one-on-one attention. Like I said, it costs around $60. Last year, that's what it cost. That's what I would assume it would cost this year. And if it is able to happen in the fall. And if you are interested in this program, please continue to check out their website. It's like northeastern.edu/campusrec, I believe, but I will check back on that, or just send us an email and we can make sure that you get on that list.
Okay.
So the presentation overall, we're just going to go through a lot of our general information. So that's like practice information, or general practice information, our volunteering efforts that we do, team bonding. We'll kind of talk through our competition expectations and some other fun things that we do, like our holiday show. So each e-board member who's responsible for each component is going to talk about that. But before, I think, Annabelle, you wanted to talk more about kind of what's going on right now with COVID and like what we've heard from club sports in terms of getting on the ice and stuff in the fall.
Yeah, so basically what we're going to do in this presentation is we're going to explain how we run a season normally. So that's going to be the same kind of expectations, requirements, activities that go on, because we want to give you guys a picture of how this season looks at a normal time. But obviously it's not a normal season this year. We have heard from club sports that we are canceling all activities for September. So they are going to be checking back every month and basically saying, like, how do things look right now? Are we going to be able to hold any sort of activities? And they're going to keep updating us month by month. So what we're planning on doing is holding a normal recruitment session, a normal application process, and starting everyone off as virtual members in the fall. And do as much as we can, as safely as we can. You know, we can have virtual hangouts, what have you. And then when it gets to the point where we possibly hear anything from club sports, we're going to make sure that anything we do is obviously with all the restrictions and all the precautions taken to keep everyone safe, while still trying to have as normal of a season as possible. So a lot of the requirements you see in this presentation are probably going to change based on what happens this season, but keep in the back of your mind that this is how it's normally going to run, and keep it in mind for the future. And with that, I will go to the first slide.
And Kirsty, you're doing practices, but is your mic okay, or do you want someone else?
I was going to say, can you guys hear me?
You're still
No? Okay.
It's not ideal.
I was like, should we do it? So Sophie, you know how practices go.
All right, so I can take over. So for practices, we have approximately 2 sessions a week in the evenings. And so these kind of range in what times they will be between 5 p.m. and 11:30 p.m. So for example, last semester we had, I think it was like one session from, I think, 7:30 to 9? And then another was from like 9 to 10:30 or 9:30 to 11. We also offer morning ice twice a week, kind of depending on the Matthews schedule. And that normally runs from 7 to 8:30 a.m. And then sometimes on the weekends, they have morning ice sessions as well. And so those are, really nice because that helps you with morning ice requirements, which someone will, I'm sure, talk about. So we run them like a typical freestyle session. And so I'm sure if you guys are not new to skating, that means basically you can come kind of individually work on what, personally your goals are. So that would be any kind of, jumping, spinning, moves in the field, program work for competition, anything like that. We have on ice expectations just to make sure that it runs smoothly and that we're keeping everyone safe. And a few times a semester, we will hold group classes that are normally run by either of our coaches, Julie or Elizabeth. And those kind of range in like what they are from like, we do like power sessions, stroking, spins, jumps. Sometimes we'll do like a combination where like you have like, 20 minutes at each, section to work on whatever it is. And so basically we expect everyone to practice for at least 2 hours a week. And that would be equivalent to an entire session each week. So you can either go to one session for the whole thing, or you can split your time up between different ones. But, just in total, we would like to see that come to 2 hours. Additionally, you are asked to go to, I think, 2 morning ice practices a month, I want to say. So, be sure not to let that kind of like linger on, and kind of make sure you're doing it and not, procrastinating on it. So for our coaches, we have Julie Pondelli, Elizabeth Gibbons, and Joe Eisner, who's a Northeastern alum. And they will be doing weekly private lessons. And Julie kind of focuses on a lot of our like, higher level jumping and spinning, whereas Elizabeth is, our focus is more on like moves in the field and dance sessions, and Joe is kind of like choreographer, kind of works with you to develop your program for competitions. And these private lessons will normally happen on both night sessions, and then sometimes, depending on availability of the coaches, some will come to morning sessions.
That was good. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Better? Okay. Yeah. That was really good, Sophie. Thank you. Just a couple things. So obviously the 2 hour, at least 2 hours is a floor, not a ceiling. Most people go to more than 2 hours. That's just kind of because of co-op, which like schedules get confusing just to keep those kids. But yeah, most people go to both practices at night, and then usually one morning practice if they can. And then one thing is that weekly private lessons. So everyone gets lessons as part of your tuition, what's it called? Dues for the semester. They're not usually once a week. I think they're going to be once every other week or so, and it'll be split up between the 3 coaches, and you can send your availability and what like you want to work on, and then Elizabeth makes, right? Are you making the schedule, Elizabeth, this year?
Yes, and I hope to be able to give everybody a lesson a week, but it might be like, I'd say like 2 every 3 weeks is probably what it will look like.
The only thing I would add is that we do have off-ice practices, but we'll be talking about that later. And I think in some cases those are optional, and then, yeah, we'll talk about it a few slides later, but just something to keep in mind.
And also I want to add that your dues that you're charged at the beginning of each semester will cover all of these lessons on this ICE time. It is all inclusive. You will not have to pay for anything out of pocket.
Yeah. And really quick, because I saw this about dues. So we usually charge dues per semester. We're just not entirely sure what they're going to be this year because it depends on when we get on the if we can get on the ice in October or if we get on the ice in January. So that will probably be sent out at a later date when you guys apply. But yeah, I'm good.
Our next slide, we're going to be talking about volunteering and team bonding. So Katie, if you want to talk a little bit more about that.
I was just going to add one more thing before we switch slides. If you're just not familiar, I know that I've gotten this question before. We do have an on-campus rink. All of these sessions are taking place at that rink on campus, which I would say is no more than maybe a 20-minute walk farthest. Most dorms, I would say it's not more than 10 minutes. And so when these practices are late at night, you're not, like walking from the middle of Boston somewhere. It is on campus. And you can see kind of like some backgrounds of the rink, like on our backgrounds and then in these pictures too. So yeah, in case you didn't know, sometimes it doesn't always come out. I'll go to the next slide.
Yeah, it's a really nice rink and it's really warm.
Yeah. We'll wear a tank top in the winter. It's amazing. So volunteering and team bonding is going to look a little bit different this year, obviously. But basically how we usually do it is for volunteering, all of our volunteering events are mandatory. So with the club sports office, we're required to do 10 hours as a team. And so in order to get those 10 hours, we make all of our events mandatory, and you need to have an excused absence in order to get out of them. But usually they're really fun, so it's not like a chore to do. We do a lot of road races, supper club, Relay for Life. This year we're looking at a couple different virtual volunteering opportunities, and we have a couple long-term things in the works that you'll hear more about in the fall. For fundraising, we've been picking up our fundraising a lot over the last couple years. So fundraising requiring expenditures is never going to be mandatory for any team member. So for example, if we were going to a restaurant and they were giving us 20% of every sale for 2 hours, you would never be forced to do that, but it's highly encouraged. And then lastly, team bonding is something that we really love on this team. Really brings us closer together. So we have a couple different examples in this slide of team bonding that we've done in the past. I think our top favorite is definitely cycling classes. We love going to cycling. We do it all the time. One of our coaches is actually a turnstile instructor, I think. I've been abroad for a year, so sorry. Team bonding will never be required for anyone. It's actually a club sports rule that you can't make team bonding required. But we highly encourage you to come. It's always a great time, and it's a great way to get to know your teammates. However, I will say that consistent non-participation in team bonding may be construed as not meeting your membership requirements, but we've never had an issue with that in the past. So I don't see why we would have one going forward. So yeah, team bonding is not required, but highly encouraged. And hopefully this year we're gonna have a lot of different virtual opportunities. So we're thinking a lot of Zoom workouts and Zoom team bonding events and bring your own potluck dinner or something like that. So we're looking into different options for that. So volunteering and team bonding are not going to disappear this season, I promise. And that's everything.
Now we're going to have Elizabeth talking about competitions.
Yeah, so competitions are obviously a huge part of the team, as we are a competitive sports team. So looking at the big picture, we are part of the Northeast section of the U.S. Figure Skating Intercollegiate map. So what that means is that we compete in the 3 Northeast qualifying competitions with the goal of ultimately qualifying for intercollegiate nationals. Last year, we were ranked 7th in the Northeast, which we were really happy about. It was a big improvement from years past. And this year, we're looking to build on that and get into the top 5 and then consistently keep building from there. This year, as you'll notice, U.S. Figure Skating has tentatively scheduled all the competitions to be in the spring, with hopes that COVID-related restrictions, with travel restrictions, the university restrictions, just general safety, etc., will not be as big of a factor. So we're very lucky that 2 of the competitions are actually going to be in Boston this season. So we have MIT, February 6th and 7th, BU a month later, and then at NYU, March 20th and 21st. So it's going to be a really packed season, but hopefully it will be able to happen in a really safe, fun experience. Like I said earlier, your dues will cover all of the entry fees, travel costs, lodging costs, and 1 team meal. And then just in general, I want to talk about the structure of competitions at the intercollegiate level. So in a lot of ways, they're very similar at the core to what you've probably done in the past, but they're also extremely different, and I think in a much better way, in a much more fun, relaxed, less stressful way. And I know most people would agree with me. So like you're probably used to, you do compete your own individual program. There is freestyle and solo dance. There's pattern dance, free dance, and short program, long program, normal freestyle. Everything is competed at the Excel level, except junior and senior. There's also a championship event. We can get into that at a later date. And everything is scored on the 6.0 system. There is no IGS. Eventually it could happen, but it would be a couple years. And you do earn your own placement, and you can earn your own medals, but your placement will count towards team points. So based on the amount of people in your group and your placement, you will earn a certain amount of points for our team. And then the team that wins the competition has the most points. But at just like an atmosphere level, the competitions are a lot more fun. It's very low pressure. Everybody's there cheering on all of their teammates all day. I know after the end of every competition weekend, I cannot talk because I've been screaming so loud all weekend. So it's really supportive environment, really low pressure. We just want you guys to have fun. And then the other different thing about intercollegiate competitions is there are maneuver team events where essentially there are 7 different elements, and there's a low team, intermediate team, high team. And then we would have 3 to 7 skaters on each of those teams competing those elements. So everybody from all the schools lines up against the boards, and they would say like, well, the skater from Northeastern performing the axel tape jump, go perform their axel. Do your axel, go back to your team, like that. Just at a requirement level, we do expect everyone on the team to compete at least once per school year. And the other thing that we started last year that we are really thrilled about is our holiday show. So last year, it was a great experience. We raised about $900 for our team that went towards team bonding initiatives, as well as some of our competition entry fees. So we want everyone to be involved with this show in some way. For most people, that means skating, but for others who are less comfortable performing in front of others, they volunteer, they announced, they were the MC for the event, they checked tickets, they made sure that everybody was ready to get on the ice, the decorations, sold tickets, etc. So we had a combination of solo individual programs as well as some group programs. You see in the pictures, we had our e-board down below. We did Mean Girls Jingle Bell Rock number. And then the freshmen did like an All I Want for Christmas Is You. One of our guys on the team did Santa Baby, which was literally the funniest program I've ever watched. I think I cried laughing every single time. Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. And this year, the likelihood of it being in person is not great, but we most definitely want to continue with it. So we're looking into some virtual options. As long as we're on the ice, we will have it. And I'm actually really excited about the idea of a virtual show because I think it will allow people not in the Boston area to be able to watch it as well. And I think we could do some like on ice perspectives kind of filming, that kind of stuff. So I think it is going to end up really good too.
Great. And Julia, I think you're talking about kind of other stuff related to things we haven't mentioned yet, and also social media and any extra.
Yes, the other fun stuff. That's my cue. So, Katie already mentioned a few, but outside of the rink, we have our team dinners and movie nights. We had our Nationals watch party last year. That was really fun, as well as our fundraisers with the local restaurants. I believe last year we did Panera and Fajitas and Ritas, and I think a couple others. But additionally, we also have our conditioning sessions. So lift is in the fall and agility is in the spring. They're both slightly different, but they're both a lot of fun. We've had in the past a requirement to go 2 sessions per semester, but like we said, we really don't know what's going on right now. So that's subject to change, and we'll keep you all updated with that. We have our group workout classes that Katie had mentioned. In the past, we've done Soul Cycle. I think they did aerial silks as well, which is super cool. And 305 Fitness, which was like a dance party one. That was really fun. That one was so much fun. But yeah, and please follow us on social media. They're listed on the slide as well as our website. And throughout the year, we post our competition results, the events we hold, fundraisers, what we do at team bonding, community service. And recently, this past year, we added Skater Sunday, which is basically like a skater is chosen every week. I'm sure some of you guys have seen if you've looked at our Instagram before, but it's very helpful because, let's say you go to practice, it's your first one, and this one person was really nice to you and you really vibed with them, but you don't remember their name, or like you think you do, but you're not sure. Chances are they're already a Skater Sunday. So if you stalk their Skater Sunday, you can see them and their name, as well as where they're from, which is not creepy at all, obviously, and stuff like that. And if they're not already there, then check our website as well. But yes, please follow us on social media. And I think that's all for me.
I would just add, for conditioning sessions, we work with the varsity athletics trainers and also work in the same workout rooms as many of the varsity athletes. So you're really getting exposure to like quality trainers. It's not like we're running them. We have someone who's like certified trainer working with us to help us kind of build muscle or get stronger in ways that will be helpful to improve your skating skills on ice. So I just wanted to add that.
Okay, so you might have heard a little bit of this if you've emailed with me, but we do hold an application process, which will definitely include an online portion and some other like steps that are still being hammered out. But basically what we do, the application process, is we're not really looking for the best skater in the entire world for our team. What we're looking for is someone who is willing to be a part of a dedicated sports environment, who's willing to be a team player, to become friends with people on the team. Like we stand at practice and we practice, but we also talk to each other, we give each other pointers. It's a really close-knit team. So we just want to see what you're hoping to bring to the team and kind of your level of commitment. So this being said, the information about the application process is going to get emailed out to the mailing list. think a lot of you guys who are on here are on the mailing list because I recognize a lot of your names. But if you filled out the attendance form, you're definitely like double checked on the mailing list. So you'll receive information about the application and also a fall info session, which is usually our largest info session, and that's the one that most people are going to go to, and you're welcome to join that one as well. And that's going to be the first week of classes or like the second week of September. And at that info session, we'll have more specifics, hopefully, about a lot of this stuff, more specifics about the timeline of the application, so like when it's going to be due, that kind of thing. And we will, like I said, email you, and they're also going to post about it on social media, so you'll see it lots of places, I'm sure. And then one last thing is at that session, we will most likely have hammered out dues a little more closely. So you've heard throughout the presentation that a lot of stuff or everything is included in your dues. At this point, since we don't know the extent of what we're able to do and the extent of our expenses, we don't have a number for dues. But that's something that's going to be more clear the more information that we have, and it's going to reflect the amount of stuff we're able to do. So we're not going to charge an exorbitant amount for where you don't know where your money is going. If you have any concerns or questions about that, obviously you can ask. And that leads great into our next section, which is questions.
So if you guys want to just turn off your mic and ask it, or you can send it in the chat or directly to me, any of those is fine. Fire away.
And also just put us back into, like, so we can all see each other's faces.
That would be great.
Okay.
Okay.
That's better. Now I can see everyone.
Okay, we have a question.
So Emerson asked that, she says she's on co-op in the spring and it's outside of Boston. How does being on the team work in that situation?
Katie.
Annabelle, you want to take it away?
Yeah. So
Or I can.
I can start, and then if you guys have stuff to add on, just interrupt me. So it depends on outside of Boston, like if you mean like not driving distance, like you're not going to be living near campus. In the case that you're co-oping like away, so like you don't consider yourself to be like in the campus area for this semester, people do apply like semesterly. So we hold an application process every fall and every spring. So that allows people coming in and out from study abroad or from co-op to get on the team without having to wait a full year, which is something that we think is really important. Okay, I see, NYC, yeah. So you're definitely welcome to apply in the spring. I know a lot of people are looking at that because of things like NU Start, or because they're taking classes online in the fall, completely understandable with everything going on. So it's not, you won't be the only person. And we are hoping to have some sort of like virtual options for people who aren't around in person in the fall. So in that case, keep an eye out for like more specific information. That's honestly just pending what restrictions we get from club sports regarding what we're allowed to do, but that's our hope, so that people who are not going to be around can still start the team environment.
And I will say that, oh, can I go real quick? Okay. Yeah. It's really, really easy to like reintegrate back into the team or like start again with the team. Like I was in France last semester, Kirsty was in Australia, and like it wasn't a problem at all for us to be away from the team for a semester. And you definitely have a lot of opportunities at Northeastern to be outside of Boston, whether it be for one semester or more. And that's never gonna like stop you from coming back to the team.
Yeah, and what I was gonna say, from a financial perspective, we do charge dues semesterly for that kind of reason, where a lot of people are coming and going with co-op and study abroad. So from that end, you will not be out half of your dues.
Yeah, we have another question about reapplying every semester. So the question
I think also someone raised their hand too for after this question.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. But the question was, do you need to reapply every semester? And the answer is that yes, we do have everyone reapply each semester. New members and
Each year.
Each year, sorry.
Yeah.
In the
Every
fall, we have everyone reapply. So that's new members and old members. And then in the spring, there's another period of like applications where we have any new members who are coming back or who are coming to campus. Maybe they were at like NUN, which isn't a thing this year, but yeah, so there's the spring application period as well. But the answer in short is yes, everyone reapplies. And we definitely take into consideration, I guess, people who have been on the team before when we're making those decisions. Does anyone else have anything to add on that?
Just like, don't let it worry you. I mean, you're filling your requirements as a team member. You're fine.
Yeah.
So we have another question here. Do you need to have experience with competing to be on the team?
Does anyone else want to answer this question?
Elizabeth, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, Elizabeth, that's your position.
Yeah. No, you do not need to have competed before. We just want you to be willing to compete since it is a team requirement, but they have every level at these competitions. So if you're just struggling to get your single jumps, or if you have all your triples, it doesn't really matter. You will have a spot to compete. Or if you want to do dance, that is an option too. So as our coaches are more than willing to help you make a program, and as long as you have that motivation to compete, no, it is not a problem.
Do any of the AVPs who it was their first time competing this year want to talk about what that was like, or do you not have everyone?
I can, yeah. So I skated ISI before, so that was a little bit different than like US, and basically my levels were transferred over, so I kind of got to like skate in the same level that I was before, but really I had never competed before, but I felt totally fine doing it. Like everyone's super supportive, and it's just like fun, really, like competing, even though I wasn't like a big, I don't know, I'm not into competing, but it was still like a good enough environment where I felt like I was supported, and it was just fun.
And you got a medal.
That's true.
Yeah.
Being on the ice yourself can be a little nerve-wracking, but competitions themselves are really fun. We always have a lot of team members there to support, and when you're not on the ice, you're just cheering everyone on, and it's a really great time.
Yeah. And I'll also say,
like, before, go ahead.
I was just saying, you could go out and like literally spend the entire time on your butt, and like everyone would still cheer for you.
And we've all wiped the ice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially me.
Literally, so I competed like for too long. And I was like, oh, when I went to college, I did not intend on competing again, because I was like, I've done that before. I don't want to do it again. And then it became a requirement on the team. So then I did. And I just wet myself one time during warm-up, and then it was fine. It was just a funny time. You know, it is really different. So, you know.
And she was so much better the next time. She skated clean.
That's true.
Literally.
Thank you. But yeah, so like, it's really, you know, whether you have experience or not, it's definitely a new environment, and it's really positive, and don't let it scare you. So yeah.
I'm gonna go down. Nicole had a question: would it still be possible to practice by ourselves on the ice this semester, or will the on-campus rink be entirely closed? So, as of right now, we only know that we will not be practicing in September, and club sports will be reevaluating it every month, and I think they're also going to be asking for our proposals. So I know a lot of e-boards and our team members ranks have successfully opened, so I'm hopeful that we'll be able to tell them what our ranks have done to open safely, and that they will take that into consideration. As far as the on-campus rink being entirely closed, I have heard through the grapevine, I've been up in Boston, clearly I'm not right now, but I've been up in Boston since July, and I have ran into one of the rink maintenance guys, and he said that the rink is supposedly opening, at least for the hockey players, sometime in September. That does not necessarily mean that they will be having any public skating, so that open skate that I mentioned about Learn to Skate during that time. But if there is open skate, yes, you are more than welcome to skate on that.
I would assume that we would probably have ice before they had open skate, just because
I was gonna
we're kind
say.
of higher on the list. But if they don't have ice, there is a lot of ice in Boston, not in Boston, but around Boston that you
Yeah.
could get to. So I
Yeah.
know they don't
I
have
think Ganis has ice too.
If
It's open.
our rink isn't open, and people feel comfortable with, or still want to skate, and feel comfortable with that from like a COVID perspective, we can definitely, I think, put together a list of
We can unofficially.
tell you where the rinks are, and
This
then
is being posted. That's great, but it's fine.
But I think in terms of Matthews, our rank, we're going to come back before open skate, and even when open skate is back, it's usually a lot less hours than our ice.
Yes.
So I wouldn't rely too heavily on it.
But
We're hoping that we'll get our ice.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Someday.
And then I stopped skating competitively in high school to focus on school. Is that okay, or will I be too far behind? Elizabeth, what do you think?
Absolutely not too far behind at all.
Yeah.
We have had many people on our team currently that stopped skating probably some point in middle school and came back to the team and absolutely fell back in love with skating. And you will definitely get your skills back quickly.
Yeah. I can do the next one. So I haven't landed doubles. I'm still wanting to join the team. Is this okay? Definitely. Something that we take into account for sure with the application process is not, like I said, landing triple axels like out on the ice. We really want to have a balanced team. I mean, at competitions, you get the same amount of points for winning not senior championship, because you get an extra point for championship, but for winning like senior short as you do for winning prelim, whatever. So all of the levels mean the same. And we really want people to just be confident at like the skills they have, the level they're skating at, whatever they're entering in competition. So it's not so much about like you need to have these jumps. We just want to know like what are you comfortable doing, and then you're going to work on honing that, and then you can work with our coaches if you want to go back and land your doubles, which is something I know that a lot of us have worked on with our coaches, and that and Julie is really, really good about helping people get doubles back or getting them in the first place. So it's simply not something to worry about. And when you see us ask questions on the application about jumps or whatever, it's really just to get a picture, since we don't hold tryouts at this time.
And
one thing that we also really value is improvement, and you can't improve if you're already like a perfect senior skater. So if you're coming in at like a prelim level and you end your career at Northeastern at like a juvenile level, like that's awesome for us. Like that's definitely something we want to see.
Yeah, or even just improve your skills as a preliminary, like just keep improving. And what I was also going to say is that all of the competition levels are held at the Excel level, which means that they're basically at whatever was on the test to get to that level. So like if you pass that freestyle test, you are more than prepared to compete at that level.
I have another question about how many people do novice and higher solo free dance with the team, within the team, and also within the section.
I guess
I would say, sorry, you can answer.
Yeah, no, I don't. This year we only had Sophie doing free dance. But we are looking to get some of our skaters who did pattern dance into free dance. But to answer, so on our team, not that many. Based on the emails we've been getting, it seems like we have a lot of potential dancers coming in, which we are really, really excited about. and I'm sure Coach Elizabeth will also be thrilled about instead of teaching us non-dancers formulary dance. But as far as free dance goes, as a whole, it is not that populated. The pattern dances are definitely much more populated as a competition event.
Yeah, I've been working with I was before the end of the semester, putting together a free dance with Coach Elizabeth. And she's really great. She's not only like super helpful in getting like your pattern dances up to par, but she's also really creative and very willing to help you with choreography for free dances as well. So I have been was having a lot of fun with her putting that together, and hopefully I'll be finishing it up at some point this year.
And just to quickly like chime in for a second on like the section in whole with like solo free dance, like I would say, you know, obviously it depends on like what section you're competing at, but typically looking at like, if you're looking at like novice and like junior, like those sections normally have about like 4 people in them and then if you're looking at like international and gold for solo, those more lean towards like, I want to say like 7 or 8.
For pattern dance, those were like probably like 10-ish, but like for free dance, you're probably
for the free dance, the like international free dance is like there were like 6 of them.
Okay, I didn't even pay attention.
There's so many dance opportunities.
Elizabeth, jeez. I'm an expert.
So we have our next question, which is, do you have any idea as to what the COVID requirements on the ice rink will be? Like, for example, the rink that this person is skating at now requires gloves to be worn and masks were required before, but are now optional. I would say that we haven't, because the rink isn't open for our team, we haven't really gotten to discuss that, but I'm thinking there will definitely be certain safety measures in place. Those will either be mandated to us by club sports, or we will put them together as a team. And in terms of like health and safety decisions, like we could put together like a Google document or something and kind of have like a forum for people to express their comfort levels. And I think in that case, we would probably go with whoever has we'll make it so that whoever is feeling the least comfortable will feel safe, if that makes sense.
I will add to,
and I think,
sorry, I was just gonna say, if we do have practices, we are going to take like density precautions. So it's not gonna be like everyone just shows up and it's super busy. We will make it so that it's staggered and certain people come on certain days and feeling like really stifled in the ring if that's happening.
I don't know what our requirements will be as far as wearing a mask on the ice. If people want to, we will definitely do that. But I am sure that when you are not on the ice and you're putting your skates on or warming up or going to the bathroom or whatever, you will have a mask on.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
I mean, club sports they're going to be very vocal about this, like when the season starts and when the rink opens back up. So we're going to have a lot of direction from Northeastern and the club sports office. They've been following along with what a lot of the varsity sports are doing. So if you're ever looking for a little bit more information, if you go and see how like varsity hockey is handling their practices, like that's pretty much how we're going to be doing it too. It's going to come from the top down for sure.
Yeah. So this next question is, would I be able to get my skates sharpened there maybe before the season starts? It's hard to find someone doing sharpening at rinks right now. So our team, under normal circumstances, is working out a partnership with a local sharpening or like just like skate shop.
And they're open.
Yeah.
Was there last week?
They're open. But if you guys, so under normal circumstances, we would be setting up like kind of a system where you guys could leave your skates with us, and then we would have our team sharpener sharpen them, bring them back, and then you could grab them from us at the rink or wherever. But for right now, like in the COVID age, I don't think we'll be doing that just because It requires too much in-person contact. But as Kirsty mentioned, the sharpener that we were working with is open, and there's also several other sharpeners that are like figure skated trusted in the Boston area. So we can always recommend places for you to go, or if one of us is taking our skates to be sharpened, maybe we can take yours too. I know that sometimes they're a little bit further outside the city, and if you don't have a car, they might be harder to get to. But we can figure that out definitely as the season goes on, and there are definitely skate sharpeners in the area.
And just I'm someone who lives a bit close. I live close to the shop that we partner with, so if we do get a lot of interest, I can potentially take skates over.
I will say everything is all inclusive. Even when we are partnered with that guy, at the moment we do not have the funds to pay for your skates to be sharpened, so you would like stick $15 in your skate.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, skate sharpening's out of pocket because you would do that. Like that's kind of an expectation to have skate sharpened for practice, but we will get them done for you.
So this next question asks, can we test during the fall semester? Obviously it would be different with COVID-19, but during a normal year, is our test sessions available, or should this person try and get their tests completed during the summer in the future? I'll just jump in. Our rink doesn't offer, or like our club doesn't offer test sessions, just because because we're student run and because we're like underneath Northeastern Club Sports, they're very strict in terms of how many people we have in the rink, hosting events, that kind of stuff. So because of the way our club is structured, it's not very conducive to holding or hosting test sessions at Matthews Ice Arena. That's not to say that there aren't plenty of test sessions in the area. I think you would just have to attend them as non-club members of like whatever rink they're being hosted at. But we can get more, like there's plenty of people on our team who are kind of tuned in or have coaches who are involved in running test sessions. Even our coach, Julie, she knows where there's going to be test sessions in Boston, and can help you figure out like when and where it would be the best for you.
And Julie, you finished.
No, I was done. Go ahead.
Okay. And Julie and Elizabeth are both happy to attend with you.
Yeah. I'm glad to put you on the ice.
Yeah.
The only thing is, if they attend with you, you would have to pay them. We wouldn't pay them to go to your test session.
Okay, so I have a question. If you have never tested before, but you do have an axle or whatever skill moves that you have, would you have to go through all of the test levels in order to compete, or could you just enter at whichever level you skate at?
Do you want me to take? Okay. So if you have tested with another federation or organization other than US Figure Skating, they are very welcome to getting transfer test credit. So like Emily said, she was a member of ISI and had an axle and like a double toe or a double sow. And we were able to send her ISI test credit to US Figure Skating, and they were able to transfer her credit and give her what she would be at the US Figure Skating structure. They do that for international federations too. So if you're from another country, you can transfer your test credit. If you have never tested before under any organization, you would be required to take both the moves in the field and the freestyle test under US Figure Skating.
In order to compete at whatever level.
Yeah, you could compete at the lowest level and just crush it.
Yeah.
They also have like, I don't think it's called well balanced anymore, but like I think there's a no test option that does axles. So you don't have to test.
Oh yeah, there is a pre-preliminary plus.
Yeah, plus, not well balanced.
Yeah.
You can also test, I think, like you can I can't remember if it's for competitions or testing, but you can go and like if you pass like like say I've never done tests, but then I go and I try the juvenile freestyle test, like I don't have to go all the way up through.
You do. I never heard of that.
I think it's new. I'm telling you.
I think there might be something about you can take multiple tests on the same day. Like there's a limit you can do, but you could go and do like
I think you can do programs. You can do like maybe 2 freestyle tests at once, but I don't think you can do moves.
Yeah.
I don't think. Yeah.
Can you not do moves? I feel like I've done, or maybe it's dance. Maybe dance is
Dance. Dance is what you can do. Yeah.
I tested like 3 levels at like one test session. It was ridiculous.
The last question I am seeing, feel free to ask more, is regarding conditioning with varsity trainers, are we welcome to do more than 2 sessions a semester? Absolutely.
Encourage it.
Yes, we have them weekly. In the spring, before everything got shut down, we had them twice weekly. We had an agility one as well as a strength one. We just required that you do at least 2, but you are more than welcome to go every single week.
Yeah, and we encourage that actually.
Yes.
We love people.
We end up with like a little gang of people who like go every week in the mornings and like get to know the trainer.
Yeah.
We invited him to our holiday show, which I don't think he came, which was kind of mean of him. But we did invite him and we gave him a free ticket. So
And I will say, if you come every week, they are able to more adequately like tailor it towards you. Like where are you weak? What do you need to work on?
I mean, that's their job. Like they know, like if you have like a muscle that hurts or like a past injury or something, like that's literally what they do for the varsity athletes. So like they'll do it for you too.
Yeah. So it like those sessions would honestly be more beneficial for you if you came every week. And like we make them not mandatory in some cases just because, or we make 2 mandatory because we understand that for some people waking up at like we woke up at like 7 was when it started. Like sometimes people aren't morning people, or like they have co-op or there's things that come up. They stayed up all night for studying for some midterm or something. So we try to be flexible and understanding that you guys are going to be students and while also being on our team, being athletes. So that's why we put a minimum of 2 sessions, but definitely highly encourage you guys to do more than that. Okay, I think if anyone has any more questions, now would be a great time to ask. But if not, you guys have our email, I think. So feel free to reach out to us, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook. And if you, we have one new message.
I was just
from Annabelle.
Annabelle just like our team email into the chat. So if you guys don't have it, now you do. But if you have like a question that pops into your brain, like right after you close out of Zoom or in like a week, just message us through our email. You can DM us on Instagram, whatever, and we will.
The website too.
The website. We'll be more than happy to answer any questions you guys have. And if you guys
one more question. We have to sign up somewhere before attending a skiing session. Traditionally, no. In the COVID era, I'm gonna say probably yes.
Yeah.
We do have an attendance sheet at every practice just to make sure that you are hitting your 2 hours a week minimum.
Yeah. Oh, and then we have one more question. For a typical session, how much are the average dues? So we don't have you guys pay per like session you get on the ice. We have you pay per semester. So typically, we were planning on having dues set around 200 something per semester.
Yeah, they're gonna be $215 per semester, and that's like if you go to one practice and one agility, or like every single day practice in agility, it's the same price.
So your dues
all inclusive.
Yeah. Include ice time, off ice activities, so that could be training, bonding, volunteering, etc., as well as coaching. What else? The only things that we don't pay for are your skates, sharpening, and then we'll have like an apparel store at some point, and that isn't included. You'll have to pay for apparel out of pocket unless you're a brand new member, in which case we'll be giving you the jacket that
Oh, the jacket, Elizabeth.
wearing. They're personalized. Hold it up, Elizabeth.
Round.
It says Clem, so put your last name on there. They're pretty flashy. You got Northeastern Club Figure Skating. And those are our competition jackets. So if you're a brand new member, you'll get one of those on us. But any other apparel you buy from our store will be out of pocket. But yeah, so ice time, coaching, competitions, that's all included in your semesterly dues.
Yeah, and you'll know more about dues as we get closer. Like I said, like we don't really even have all the answers now. So we don't want to charge people before we know what we're going to have. So that's why we don't have a number for you, because we want to make it the most accurate based on how the season's going to go. But I mean, as we get to the application process and more information is going to be sent to you via email, and you'll know ahead of time.
Yeah. I do want to point out that it's past 8, and I think we were planning on doing our session for an hour. So if anyone has to go or has other obligations, feel free to sign off. We'll stay on for a little bit longer to field any more questions if you guys have them. But other than that, thank you guys so much for coming. We're really excited to meet you and to see your applications, hopefully in a couple weeks. But yeah, so if you have to go, feel free to sign off. We'll stay on for a bit if you have any more questions.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any more questions? I know we have a couple people still on.
I have to go. So bye.
All right, we have another. Oh, okay.
Oh, I should stop the recording. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, yeah.